You're right. You are going to be a new team, and you'll have to get used to each other's habits and natures. Yes, Sasuke is a criminal, but he told us everything about Orochimaru and any ideas he might have planned. Once Naruto and Kushina come back, I'll tell them also. Kakashi might be reluctant, but he might do it if the cause is great enough. Yugao, just be careful. You might be an Anbu captain, but even you know of Kushina's kenjutsu, and the fact that she passed it to her son makes it more great. Sasuke told us that he studied kenjutsu from Orochimaru. That makes him a powerful asset for us to have. And you know that Yugao, Tsunade said while the purple-haired Anbu nodded. Still, I don't see why we're doing this. I mean, teams are created with some purpose in mind. Is there one, Tsunade-sama? Yugao asked, and Tsunade nodded. She smiled and pointed her finger toward the cat, masked Anbu. I've decided to create Konoha's first kenjutsu group. The 5 swordsmen of Konoha, Tsunade said while Yugao's sweat dropped. She looked at her Hokage like she was insane. You want to copy Kiri? Isn't that kind of beneath you, Hokage-sama? Yugao asked, and Tsunade smiled darkly at the Anbu. What was that? Are you talking back to your commanding officer? She asked, and Yugao shook her head with a gulp. Tsunade's smile brightened as the Anbu relaxed in relief. Now then, this was originally an idea that I hadn't thought of. Sakura actually did it, and I just finalized it, but there is a reason for this. Recently, there has been some news from the Land of Iron where most samurai dwell. You 5 being the most adept in using kenjutsu will be perfect for this. I need this team to look into stuff like that, Tsunade said, while Yugao put a finger to her chin. But isn't that what the Anbu are for? Yugao asked, and Tsunade rolled her eyes. Know what? Just wait till the others come. It'll be easier than telling you all of this, Tsunade said, and Yugao nodded, but not before asking one more question. Okay, I understand, but what about Sasuke? You gave him a month in prison. So, how is this going to work? Yugao asked, and it was then that Tsunade smiled. She grinned like mad before staying silent. Couldn't tell ya. You may resume your duties now, Tsunade said, and before Yugao could ask again, she was met with a glare that simply told her to leave, which she did. Sigh. I guess I avoided that. Now then, time to start getting this done, Tsunade said as she started taking Naruto, Sasuke, Kushina, and Kakashi's picture. She stamped them to some new licenses in front of her. There we go. I can't wait for this, Tsunade said to herself, while the Anbu wondered what she was planning. Back with Naruto and Kushina. This is as far as I can take you, miss. You'll have to continue on by yourself, the captain said, and Kushina and Naruto nodded. The two jumped off the boat and landed on the water. Naruto saw the violent swirls of the whirlpools and narrowed his eyes. Just beyond these pools was his home, but damn, they looked strong. They were about ready to rip anything to shreds that entered them. Ready, Naruto-kun? Kushina asked, and the blonde turned to his mother. Exactly what are we doing here, Ka-chan? In case you forgot, she still have those whirlpools in the way, Naruto told her, and Kushina nodded as she walked a bit further. Don't tell me you're scared, Naruto-kun, she said, and the blonde scoffed. Hell yeah, I am, Naruto screamed in his thoughts as Kushina stood down on one knee. She muttered some words to herself and quickly drew her sword. Uzu no Fuin, die. Uzumaki, Kai, Uzumaki seal, Maelstrom, release, Kushina yelled as she slashed her sword forward. A wave blasted into the whirlpools and effortlessly destroyed the pools of violent water, creating a path for the two. Come on, it won't hold for long, Kushina said to him, and Naruto could agree with that as the two ran through the waters. They didn't have any time to lose as they quickly made it to land, only to see the water continue to swirl violently, making Naruto sigh in relief. What was that, Kaya-chan? Naruto asked, and Kushina smiled. That was the only way to enter Uzugakure. Now stay close to me. It's easy to get lost here, the redhead warned him, and Naruto followed close to her. The two entered into a very dense forest that really covered their sight. Naruto followed close to Kushina as she guided him towards the village. Both took the time to mourn the corpses that they saw before them. "Are you okay, Kachan?" Naruto asked, and Kushina closed her eyes. She sighed with a small nod before she widened her eyes to see Naruto hug her, pushing her close to his body. "Don't worry, Kachan. I'll protect you. I know you must feel sad, but we're not gone. There is still you and me," Naruto told her, making Kushina nod. "You're right, Sochi. Wait, what do you mean why there is still you and me? Are you trying to tell me something?" she asked, and the blonde widened his eyes. He gulped while Kyuubi laughed his head off. Kushina blushed as Naruto rubbed the back of his head. "What are you talking about? I didn't mean it like that. What I meant to say was that, Naruto tried to say, which made Kushina giggle at her son. She knew that he knew what she was talking about. She'd already thrown some caution to the wind, but she never thought about doing that with her son. She didn't even know if she could go through with it. "Kachan, and maybe we should get moving now," Naruto told her, and the redhead nodded. She stumbled through the forest for a bit longer before the two came up to a gate. Naruto stared at it, and so did Kushina. "It has a seal over it." "Well, Naruto-kun, go and open it." "Time to test the fuinjutsu that I taught you," Kushina told him, and Naruto sighed. "You just don't want to do it, do you?" he asked, and she rubbed the back of her head with a sheepish chuckle, while Naruto shook his head at his mother as he took out a piece of paper. He quickly took out a pen and started to write over the paper. He made a small seal and took hold of the paper. "All right, Kachan, stand back," Naruto told her, and Kushina backed up a bit. Naruto slammed the seal over the gate and backed up. The two Uzumaki stepped a bit more back as they heard gears turning in the gates. It unlocked, and due to the age of the doors, they fell to the ground, kicking up some dust, which made Naruto and Kushina cough for a bit before the two opened their eyes. "Naruto, welcome home," Kushina said. The two walked inside. Naruto looked inside and widened his eyes. The place was slightly destroyed and some buildings were burned, but that wasn't what Naruto was looking at. He was looking at some of the nice scenery that surrounded his village. The buildings that weren't destroyed were quite nice. They were the standard traditional houses, and Naruto could picture the Uzumaki conversing amongst each other. "It's nice here. Kachan, do you hear them?" Naruto asked, and Kushina raised an eyebrow. "Hear what, Sochi?" Kushina asked, and the blonde smiled as he gave a blissful sigh. "I can hear the kids. They're playing in the streets. I might sound weird, but I feel tranquility here. It doesn't matter that the buildings were destroyed. It's just amazing," Naruto said, and Kushina gently smiled. Only her son could see the joy in it. One thing that Naruto got from Shin was that he was also more in tune with the spiritual side of things. Maybe that was it. "Well, I'm glad I could show it to you, Sochi," Kushina said as Naruto walked up to her. He moved his face close to hers, making Kushina blush. He quickly kissed her, and Kushina widened her eyes before gently touching Naruto's hands. The blonde wrapped his arms around his mother, deepening it, while Kyuubi smiled. "Well, they're not getting it on, but whatever. This is still hot either way," Kyuubi cackled to himself before Naruto backed away while Kushina touched her lips with her finger. "What was that for?" she asked, and Naruto smiled at her. He quickly grabbed her hand and settled for feeling the smoothness of it. "Just to thank you for doing this." "Love you, Kaya-chan," Naruto told her, and Kushina rubbed the back of her head with a slight nod. "Love you too, Naruto-kun. Now then, let me take you to the place." "It isn't far," Kushina told him, and Naruto nodded. They quickly walked through the village, and while the buildings showed signs of the battle that took place along with the elimination of the Uzumaki, the plant life that was overtaking the place did a good job of hiding it away from the two. It took about 10 minutes, but Kushina brought Naruto towards the main building. It wasn't big, rather it was medium-sized. It was built to look like the Hokage mansion, except it had a large Uzugakure symbol over it. There were a few windows that allowed for easy-seeing access towards the village. "You coming, Sochi?" Kushina asked, and Naruto nodded. He quickly followed her inside, and there were a series of stairs leading through the back of the building. "So, Ka-chan, care to tell me a little bit about Mitobakan?" the blonde asked, and Kushina smiled with a slight nod. Ba-chan really was an amazing woman. She was a lot free-willed and traditional than most Uzumaki. She was also one of our best Fuinjutsu experts. I learned all that I knew from her. Like me, her chakra was special also. You didn't know it, but Mitobakan's chakra was said to be directly linked to the spiritual world, granting her an even better chakra connection than anyone else. "In a way, you take after her," Kushina said, and Naruto smiled with a small nod. Soon, the two exited the back of the Uzugakure mansion and walked a bit further to see a small vault. Kushina smiled and turned to Naruto. "Behind this vault lies the secrets of our clan head. Let me tell you this, Naruto-kun, throughout our entire history. Only 5 people have gone in here. I'm one of those 5, and now you're the 6th. Figure out this seal and open it, Naruto-kun. Our clan might be scattered, but we're all still Uzumaki to the end. Once you open this vault, it will send a chakra flare. Anyone who is an Uzumaki will feel it, so do it now," Kushina said, and Naruto nodded. He quickly walked up to the vault and raised an eyebrow. Why did they leave this place if they attacked the village? I wonder if they didn't see this, but how could they not? Naruto wondered before he took out a piece of paper. He saw Kushina looking around cautiously before he did the same. "QB?" the blonde asked, and the fox quickly nodded in an affirmative to Naruto's unasked question. "Yeah. You're surrounded. I don't know who. Either they're really lucky bandits who survived those whirlpools, or just people who have inhabited this place for a while. Get ready for a fight. Kit," QB said as Naruto narrowed his eyes. Soon, just like QB said, a man came from the bushes and grinned like mad at the two Uzumaki. "Well, I didn't think anyone else would be able to survive those whirlpools. Plus a cute one finally arrived," the man said, eyeing Kushina up and down while Naruto's chakra flared. "Oh, and who are you? I didn't think that anyone other than us were here," Kushina said, reaching for her sword while the man smirked. "Yeah, well, life works out that way, doesn't it?" he asked as he snapped his fingers. Immediately, 5 or 6 scruffy-looking guys came out with sword, knives, and all the bandit essentials. "You really think that's a good idea?" Naruto asked while the man turned a tired glare to him. "Shut your mouth, Blondie. Besides, I'm talking to the sexy-looking one here. Although I am curious as to what you have in that vault there. All our attempts at it were destroyed. Now, you seem to know what you're doing, so why don't you open that vault before I try a persuasive method?" the man said, pointing his sword at Kushina. The others laughed at the blonde's predicament while Kushina closed her eyes. Naruto's hair shadowed his before he felt her chakra flare. Naruto grabbed his sword, making the man frown. "Don't do anything stupid, brat, or else she dies," the man said, and Naruto smirked when he saw Kushina lift up a hand sign. "You might want to get away from her right now," Naruto told him, and the man laughed. "Yeah, or what?" he asked, and Naruto shrugged his shoulders. "Or you'll die," Naruto said in his thoughts before everyone heard an explosion which knocked the bandit leader into a tree. He widened his eyes when he saw Kushina smiling on top of said tree. "You're 100 years too early to threaten me and my son. I don't know how you got here, but I know how you're leaving," Kushina said as she grabbed her sword. Immediately, the bandits yelled and charged at the two while Naruto took out his sword also. He might have been lucky, as this was the chance he needed to get his offer out of the way. "Damn you, bitch!" the man yelled as he swung his sword with no skill at all. Kushina rolled her eyes as she parried the blow easily. The bandit widened his eyes while Naruto came up behind him. "Say hello to the shinigami for me." "Oh wait, I'll actually get to see him take your soul," Naruto as he slashed across the man's back. His sword hummed while the blonde stared at the man's back. "Kushiosu no jutsu?" Naruto said, and immediately everyone stared at the white apparition behind the blonde. Here's my payment. Shin, Naruto said as his sword glowed in a spiritual white color. All the bandits watched as saw their leader's soul ripped from his body. The humanoid shape stood in front of everyone while Shin opened his mouth. Payment received, the shinigami said as he opened his mouth. His beads rattled as the soul of the bandit was sucked into his mouth. Never to be seen again? What are you doing to the boss? Someone yelled as they all charged him. Naruto turned around and quickly took out a scroll. He used the ink pen and wrote fast before biting his thumb. That won't matter where you're going, Databayo, Naruto said as he slammed the ground with the scroll. Immediately the ground quaked from the pressure while everyone lost their balance only to see Kushina waving. Goodbye, Databay, she said as all the bandits fell down a large hole into the island. Naruto made it more than steep enough to make sure that they would be meeting the water when they go all the way down. Meanwhile, Naruto turned back to the shinigami to see him devouring the bandit's soul. Naruto's glare turned cold as he closed his eyes. Contract finished. Excellent work. Naruto, the shinigami said as he quickly left as soon as he came. Naruto smiled while he turned to Kushina. Ka-chan, are you all right? The blonde asked, and the redhead nodded, snapping from her stupor. Sorry, Naruto-kun. I still don't like to see you doing that. Just be careful, she said. And Naruto nodded. He could see some of the sadness in his mother's eyes. Naruto wrapped his arms around her with a small smile on his face, making her rest into his arms. I know, Ka-chan. I promise not to worry you. Now, come on and smile. A frown doesn't suit you, the blonde told her, and Kushina leavened up a little. So, what does suit me? She asked, and Naruto looked her over. He studied her features before smiling again like he always had. Anything except a frown. Now let me open that door, the blonde said, and he quickly wrote down a small, intricate seal. He finalized it and stamped it over the door. He gave it a quick tug of the handle and watched the seal on his paper glow before hidden seals across the door. Naruto and Kushina closed their eyes to the blinding light before the door opened. Kushina stayed out while Naruto waited for her. The redhead chuckled and shook her head. Only those who open the door can go in Sochi. You must do it yourself. Read through everything you can find, Kushina said, and Naruto walked inside. He quickly walked inside and looked at the darkness. Man, it's dark, Naruto said to himself, before he stumbled on a scroll. He quickly picked it up and read it, but then when he did pick it up, a small light flicked on, bringing the entire room to brighten, as he saw so many books. He quickly picked one up, but then a letter fell out the book. Naruto looked at it and opened it. Uzumaki Clansman. If you are reading this, then you are one of the unique individuals who was selected by a Fuinjutsu master and come into this place. I am the first clan head of the Uzumaki, Fuda Uzumaki. Know that you are one of the privileged to learn everything there is to know in these books. When you leave, you will be filled with the knowledge of the Uzumaki, and you will know what made this clan so powerful. My life has ended, but I only hope that the friendship that the Uzumaki hand with the Senju is still strong. Go, use all our Fuinjutsu knowledge to bring pride and honor back to the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki head, Fuda. Naruto dropped the note and narrowed his eyes. He quickly picked up a book and read it over. It was all understood to Naruto. He looked at everything in the book. Thanks to his mother, the blonde had become a fast reader. He quickly summoned 3 to 5 clones and they all read through the books. Meanwhile, Kushina stayed outside and sat on a tree. It was getting dark while she wondered how long Naruto had been in there. It was at least 2 or 3 hours, and she wondered if he was planning to read every single last book in there. He always was eccentric, Kushina said, and she looked up at the forming stars in the sky. She yawned before closing her eyes to get some sleep. 3 hours later, Naruto dispelled his clones and let all the information soak into his head. He never knew about all these capabilities with Fuinjutsu. There was even one about time-space, Fuinjutsu. It seemed to work the way Kushina tried to explain Minato's Hiroshin, But Naruto never knew. He could make his own stuff. When all this information stopped, Naruto gripped his head. "Okay, slight headache," Naruto said to himself before he got to his feet. All of a sudden, the seal on Naruto's hand started to burn. The blonde gritted his teeth and he fell to his knees. He cursed his luck as his sword glowed brightly. Its shine lit up the room in an even more intense glow of energy, while the seal of the shinigami burned on his hand. "Kyuubi, what's going on?" "My body, it hurt. It's burning inside," Naruto said, and Kyuubi narrowed his eyes. He had never seen something like this before. "I don't know. Just try and bear it." "Kit," Kyuubi said while Naruto rolled on the floor in pain. His seal burned in a white light while small white streaks appeared over the blonde's clothes. Naruto's seal extended from his hand down to his arm, making it even more intricate than before. Soon the burning stopped and Naruto huffed. He felt a sharp pain in his left hand and wiped the sweat from his brow. Naruto gripped his left arm and looked at it. 2 black lines extended from his seal and disappeared into his shoulder. Naruto took off his shirt and checked out his entire arm. He widened his eyes when he saw that the 2 black lines that came into 2 dark circles. "What is this?" Naruto wondered before his vision grew blurry. He felt himself fading out in consciousness. As he opened the vault, he quickly walked out, waking Kushina up. She gasped and got to her feet while Naruto dropped to the floor. "Sochi, are you all right?" she asked, and Naruto huffed. He then fell into his mother's arms while Kushina looked at his seal. Soon the shinigami appeared behind her while he glared at the blonde. "So, it's begun. A lot sooner than I expected," the shinigami said as Kushina turned around. She narrowed her eyes at the spirit before turning back to her son. "What's happening to him?" Kushina asked, and the shinigami placed his hands on Naruto's seal. "He's adjusting to the power of my seal. I created this seal so he could summon me, but it also takes some of my power and channels it into his body." "Did he go inside that vault?" the shinigami asked, and Kushina nodded. "Yeah, but what does that have to do with anything? I've gone inside and nothing like this happened to me," Kushina told the death god, making Shin sigh. "I see, that's the problem. You Uzumaki always were tricky. It seems something in your vault activated my seal's progression, and now Naruto can't handle the sudden intake of spiritual energy. He won't die from our conditions, but he will be in a lot of pain if I don't do something," the shinigami said, and Kushina turned to him. "So what has to be done? I've got to do something also." "He's my son," Kushina said while Naruto's body burned. His breathing picked up while his agony was made present. Shin stared at Naruto's body and turned to Kushina. "I'd need another vessel for the spiritual energy. Sort of a small control to hold back Naruto's power intake." "There has to be someone else," Shin said, and Kushina gulped. "What's the method?" she asked, and the shinigami looked at Naruto. "Simply one of your human lip contacts. It's a simple transfer of energy," the shinigami said, and immediately hearing that Kushina slammed her lips to Naruto, wasting no time. A small glow outlined Naruto's body and quickly outlined Kushina's. She quickly deepened the kiss between her and her son as she felt a small intruding force into her body. She winced at some pain as she looked at her right hand. On it, another seal was being made as she separated from the blonde. Kushina sighed while Naruto's breathing slowed. "You do realize what you've put on yourself, right?" Shin asked, and Kushina smiled. She then proceeded to rub the back of her head. No, I don't, but he seems to be doing better," Kushina said, and Shin closed his eyes with a sigh. "Oh well, this'll be interesting. It seems you connected with him," Shin said, and Kushina raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean I connected with him?" "Me and my son have always had a strong bond," she said, while the shinigami shook his head. "You will understand his heart, and he will understand yours. Misery, joy, anger, sadness, hurt, comfort, love. All these things and more you will have in tune with the other. You're quite lucky as you're not only connected in emotion but health. Just like he can't die, you won't die either. Tell me, human, "What is your name?" the shinigami asked, and Kushina stood to her feet. "Did you know my name when you revived me?" she asked, and the shinigami narrowed his eyes. "My work is too important to remember such trivial things," the shinigami told her, and Kushina's eyebrow twitched. There was an insult in there, somewhere. She then turned back to Naruto and sighed as she heard his heart beating steadily. She sighed in relief before turning back to the death god. "My name is Kushina Uzumaki," the redhead said, and the shinigami settled for a nod. "Very well. I'll remember you. You should take him to get some rest," the god said as Kushina turned to Naruto. She smiled slightly before turning around, only to realize that she was alone. The moon high in the sky, and the stars twinkled. She turned back to Naruto and quickly flung his arm over her neck. "Well, that was eventful, wasn't it, Sochi?" Kushina asked him, but she didn't get a response. Not like she was expecting one, but still. 3 hours later, Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes. He looked to the right and quickly saw a small candle flicking in a room. He noticed he was on something soft and realized it was his mother's lap. The blonde looked up and saw Kushina with her eyes closed. "How you feeling, Kit?" Kyubi asked, and Naruto stumbled, rubbed his head. "I feel like I just took a Chidori to the chest." Again, Naruto said mentally while Kushina groaned. She opened her eyes to see Naruto looking at her. "Well, it's about time you woke up," she said, and Naruto smiled. Kushina leaned down to kiss his forehead while Naruto rubbed his arm. "Ugh, what happened to my arm? It doesn't hurt anymore, but it feels weird. There's an energy that wasn't there before. I feel weird. I'm happy. Really happy right now," Naruto said, smiling as he rubbed the back of his head. Kushina chuckled as Naruto leaned up. He sighed as he looked over the house. "This is my house, Naruto-kun. It's not so bad, so I was able to place you here. Are you alright?" Kushina asked, and Naruto nodded. He sighed with a small smile as he got to his feet. Soon all the memories of his clones came back. The note, the seal book, and everything else. Naruto had never been so happy to know about his heritage before. It was then that Naruto's arm glowed again, but unlike before, there was no pain. What appeared on his arm was a small swirl symbol. Kushina looked at it and smiled. "Congratulations, Naruto-kun, you are, by Uzumaki standards, a Fuinjutsu shinobi of Uzugakure," Kushina told him, and Naruto nodded with a small smile. He sighed as he leaned back onto the floor. He looked around the room before smiling. "Thank you, Kachan. This feels great," Naruto said before he yawned. Kushina covered her mouth and did the same. "Looks like we're both tired," Kushina observed, and Naruto couldn't help but agree with her assumption. "So are we going back tomorrow?" Naruto asked, but then Kushina shook her head. "Nah, let's stay here for a little while. We won't have to be back for a while. We'll stay here for 2 or 3 days and just enjoy the place. We have it all to ourselves," Kushina said, and Naruto snickered. "I suppose you're right. It'll give me some time to practice my fuinjutsu." Kushina's mood slightly deflated at those words, as she scratched her cheek embarrassingly. Naruto could feel Kushina's slight depression. It was like he knew how she was feeling. He wondered why before widened his eyes. "As well as spend some time with the greatest woman in the world that I know of," Naruto said, and Kushina agreed as her mood raised again. "I see. Well, let's get some sleep then," Kushina said as she closed her eyes. Naruto leaned up next to the wall where she was sleeping and gently moved her head. Kushina opened her eye to see what he was doing, and saw that he rested her head on his shoulder while his went over hers. The two Uzumaki slept that way the entire night as they both had only one thought. Definitely better than a simple mother and son thing. They both thought in unison as they went to sleep, as they enjoyed being the last Uzumaki in their village. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad after all. Back in Konoha. "So what do you think?" Tsunade asked while Kakashi looked at the piece of paper. He scanned it all before he glared over it with his visible eye towards the Godane Hawkage. Tsunade effortlessly smiled at him while the one-eyed Jonin rubbed the back of his head. "You were bored when you wanted this, weren't you?" he asked while Tsunade's eyebrow twitched. She cracked her knuckles at him, making Kakashi's sweat drop. The Jonin gulped and slightly backed away. "I'm sorry? I think I misunderstood those words, right?" she asked dangerously, and Kakashi nodded fast, not wanting to be on the receiving end of one of those punches. "Maya, all things aside, I guess I can see why. I guess Team 7 is being disbanded," he asked, and Tsunade rubbed her head. "For the time being, Sakura needs more practice, and the introduction of Sasuke has resurfaced some problems that I worked to get rid of. Besides, she needs to get that crazy notion out of her head. Keeping Sasuke away from Sakura will do her some good." "Well, I understand that. Is there going to be something that should be done?" Kakashi asked, and Tsunade nodded. "You're going to the Land of Iron. As of now, Kushina's the leader only because she's got more experience than you all combined. Now then, as for Sasuke..." Kakashi stopped Tsunade and allowed it all to digest for a little bit. "I know Kushina and her exploits. She was a great Ambu, one Minato trusted. However, do you really think she'll be able to after all this time?" Kakashi asked while Tsunade rolled her eyes. "Kakashi, she trained Naruto in Kenjutsu for 2 years, and along with Sakura, he kinda kicked your butt. I think she'll do just fine," Tsunade said, while Kakashi nodded, not wanting to relive it all over again. So he let it go. "Now then, back to Sasuke. What do you think I should do? I want this team started as soon as possible, but he still has to pay for his crimes even without the information he gave us," Kushina said, and Kakashi lifted a finger to his chin. "Well then, if you're having a problem, then why not go with this idea?" he asked, and he told Tsunade the entire thing. She nodded and then nodded again. She grinned like mad while she rubbed her hands evilly. "Sasuke Uchiha, prepare for the worst time of your life," Tsunade said while Kakashi turned around. "I guess I'll start practicing again. Kami knows how long it has been since I picked up a sword. I'll see you later, Tsunade-sama," Kakashi said as he shunshined out of the room. Tsunade nodded and watched him leave. "I wonder if this is really a good idea. Even more so, I do still wonder about Hinako. I checked the files and everything about her states that she's dead. Even that old man would have some record of her on the missions also. Why do I feel that Naruto is centered around both Kushina and Hinako? Brat, when I see you, I really want to know. Not as Hokage, but as a person who really cares about you," Tsunade said as she looked out the window. She stared at the moon and sighed. "I wonder what I should call this group. The 5 Swordsmen of Konoha is boring. Any good names I can come up with, I wonder," Tsunade said as she got up from her desk and left for the night. "Somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's the Gobi. We already have the Nanabi, so what's next?" Hayden asked while Pain narrowed his eyes. "Get rid of the body for the Nanabi. It is a nuisance to have around," he said, making Kakuzu nod at him. He quickly took the body of a green-haired girl and walked away. "All right, we will now begin the process for the Gobi soon. We have acquired the Ichibi. Next will soon be the Sandai. Make sure not to fail in your attempts to retrieve it," Pain said while Tobi smiled. "You don't have to worry about that, sir. Deidara-senpai and Tobi will get him cause Tobi is a good boy who follows his senpai's orders," Tobi said while Deidara sighed. "Tobi, you'd better shut up right now or I'll kill you, Also, did you guys hear the news? I heard Orochimaru last Sasuke Uchiha. Apparently Konoha recaptured him, Deidara said while Itachi closed his eyes. He sighed before opening them back. "It doesn't matter. We should continue with our objective," Itachi said, making everyone nod, while Konan saw Pain's arm twitch. She narrowed her eyes before Pain dismissed everyone and watched them all leave. "Nagato, is your arm still bothering you?" Konan asked while the man with rippled eyes sighed. "It's nothing, Konan. Just a small disturbance since this afternoon. Don't worry about it," Pain said, and Konan settled for nodding as she left, while Pain did the same. Orochimaru's base. In one of Orochimaru's many bases, a red-headed girl with glasses on her face, was keeping count of all the prisoners in their cells before she fell to her knees and gripped her legs. "Damn it. What is this pain all of a sudden?" "It's been like this since the afternoon," she said before she picked up her clipboard and started walking. "Karen, are you all right?" someone asked, and the girl nodded fast as she adjusted her glasses. "I'm fine. Just leave me alone now. Geez, this is so boring." "Orochimaru should trust me more," Karen said, walking off while she wrote some things in her notepad for Orochimaru, as she tried to also find something for her leg that was hurting like hell. Somewhere in the land of fire. 4 or 5 people were inside a small temple as they conversed with each other. They had simply one goal in mind: to destroy Konoha. However, to do that they needed to do something drastic. They all sighed before a slightly red-haired woman gripped her neck in pain. She seethed for a bit before the burning calmed down. "Fuka, you all right? You need to stop pushing your body. Who knows how long your neck has been hurting," someone said, and Fuka rolled her eyes. "I'm fine. I don't need you worrying about me, so just calm down. I can take care of myself," she said, while another person rolled their eyes. "Sure you can. That's why you need to seduce anyone you see," the man said while Fuka growled. "Shut your mouth, Fuin. I'll be fine. Now then, when are we getting started?" Fuka asked as their leader came forward. "Soon. We'll be paying a visit to some very nice tombs soon enough," the woman said. And Fuka nodded with a sure smile over her face at the idea, even if her neck was killing her at the moment. 2 days later, Uzugakure. "So it's like this, then it goes like this. And now I just seal it," Naruto yelled as he slammed a Futenjutsu into his scroll. He successfully did it. "Ka-chan! I got it done!" Naruto yelled, and Kushina came into the room. It was weird. It turns out that despite the years and some of the damage, a lot of clothes were still fine. She was wearing a small navy blue, sleeveless muscle shirt with some black shorts exposing her thighs. Naruto wore a sleeveless red muscle shirt with black shorts. The two Uzumaki were going over their techniques together and both compared notes. "That's good, Sochi. I knew you'd get it naturally. You're an Uzumaki after all," Kushina said, and Naruto nodded. He also had plenty of other scrolls around the room filled with stuff, but then his brain hatched an idea. "Hey Ka-chan, you know how Tu-chan had his own time-space ninjutsu?" Naruto asked, and Kushina nodded. The blonde smirked and held up a finger like he was making a point. "Then let's make our own, just you and me together. It will be our little project. Don't you think?" Naruto asked while Kushina sighed. "Naruto, it took most of Minato's lifetime to make the Hiraishin. Why you even want one?" she asked, and Naruto settled for smiling. "I just want us to have one. A time-space ninjutsu all to ourselves. Kakashi Sensei has one, Tu-chan had one. I'm sure a few other people have some, so let's have our own," Naruto suggested, and he felt weird again. Like he could feel Kushina's interest and excitement in the subject rising. "Well, what did you have in mind?" she asked, and the blonde grinned with a nod as the blonde stood to his feet. "I got the idea from Kakashi Sensei's jutsu. It was an amazing technique. Of course it will have some drawbacks, but nothing we can't handle, right?" he asked, and Kushina raised an eyebrow. "All right, so what did you have in mind?" she asked again, urging Naruto to get to the point. "Well, you and Iro-sennin taught me more about shape manipulation, right?" Naruto asked, and Kushina nodded. She was growing more and more excited while Naruto sighed. "All right, it will be called the Uhaden, Dark Wave Bullet. Despite its name, it's not a Suten, Jutsu Ka-chan. It will be our time-space ninjutsu," Naruto told her, and Kushina grabbed her son's collar. "Point! Get to the point, Databane!" she yelled, and Naruto nodded fast so that she would let him go. "All right, I'll explain it as best I can. It utilizes the shape manipulation into a perfect ball like the Rasengan. The main point is to focus chakra somewhere towards the lower parts of your body, like around your stomach, or maybe like the... Naruto snapped his fingers while Kushina chuckled. Forget it. I understand. Basically a place where chakra is stored, she said, and Naruto quickly nodded with a smile. Right, see, the chakra takes on the waves of energy around us and... Damn, this was so much better in my head, Naruto said, while Kushina sighed with another small chuckle. Her son was so innocent at times that it could only make her laugh. Well, it's not like you'll get it anytime soon, so let's take it slow. We'll research it later, but for now I think it's time for us to explore this place a little more, Kushina said, hopping to her feet, while Naruto did the same. I hope it doesn't take long, Naruto said as he was dragged out of the house by Kushina. Neither Uzumaki had any idea of what their fates still had in store for each of them. Keiji, I guess I'm done. Also, people, I'm sorry about the errors that you see in my stories. My sister is sort of a damn vixen when it comes to stuff like this. Try not to let it bother you. I'm working on a solution for that. Also, can anyone think of a good name for Tsunade's little group that she's forming? I like some opinions. I always like to involve my readers some way into my stories. Who knows, maybe that's who I am. Also, I made Fuka, if you know her, and Uzumaki for a reason which will be explained later. Bye-bye. Keiji. I would like to thank everyone for their input on what I should name this little group that Tsunade's forming. As to Naruto and Kushina's time-space ninjutsu, it will be an attack type like Kakashi's Kamui. They won't have it for quite a little while. That's all the news I've got for now. In Konoha, Kakashi sighed as he leaned against the wall while he was talking to Sakura. He could see that the news had completely devastated her while the pink kunoichi held her head to the ground. Team 7 might be disbanded? But why? She asked, and Kakashi rubbed the back of his head with a small sigh at her question. I know it's hard to digest, Sakura, but Tsunade-sama is forming a group in me, Sasuke, and Naruto, and another of our Anbu. I'm sorry, Sakura, but if Naruto, Kushina, and Sasuke agree to it, then we're all officially a team. Kakashi explained, and Sakura balled her fists. What can you all do that I can't do? This isn't fair, she said, and Kakashi held up his hands in defense while he sweat dropped. Mama. Sakura, calm down now. It's not like we won't ever come back. We'll just be a lot more busy. Also, to tell you, we're all kenjutsu users. We are the most proficient in using swords. I was quite capable with swords back in the day. Kushina was a kenjutsu legend when she was an Anbu, and she passed those skills to Naruto. Susu, while it's weird to say this, was trained by Orochimaru. Well, I have to go, Sakura. Back to a place I should have gone long ago, Kakashi said while he walked away with a waving hand, leaving Sakura alone in the fields to sulk. With Kakashi, the Jonin sighed as he wondered if he could have handled that better. He didn't know how Sakura would handle this new change, but orders were orders, and she would just have to deal with it. Time to go. Back to that place, Kakashi thought as he entered into the streets of Konoha. He watched the people converse with each other and kept his impassive attitude. He could see a few Anbu hopping along the rooftops. He closed his visible eye as he walked away in silence. It didn't take long before Kakashi left the streets and came into a forested area. He moved through the trees before he came up to a small house. It was well hidden to match the environment. Its medium-sized wood, which was capable of housing about 5 to 6 people. The wood was somewhat deteriorated, but Kakashi didn't care about that at the moment. He quickly walked up to the house and touched the door. How long has it been since I've been here? Kakashi wondered as he opened the door. The wooden door creaked before opening, and Kakashi stepped inside. He looked around the dark room before his fingers fumbled for the light switch. He flicked it on, and all the lights came on, showing a quaint little space. He walked into the living room where a small couch and scrolls were. Connected to the living room was the kitchen, which hadn't been used in who knows how long. The amount of dust that had accumulated was staggering, which made Kakashi rub his head. I guess I'll have to clean this up one of these days, Kakashi said to himself before he left the kitchen, and walked up the stairs. He looked to see 2 rooms, each right across from the other. On was his room, and the other was his father's, Sakumo Hatak, room. Kakashi looked down for a little while before he grabbed the door into his father's room. "Chusan, I'm home." "Sorry it took so long," Kakashi said as he opened the door. He flickered on the light and was graced with an empty room just like he had thought. It's not like he was expecting anything. It was just that he was feeling the loneliness settle in for a little while. Kakashi passed through the door and walked inside. His father's room wasn't anything impressive, just rather moderate. The Jonin looked up at his father's bed, where the sheets laid in their perfect fashion just as the day he left. Right above the bed was a sword. It wasn't like the white light chakra saber that he used to Jonin during his youth. It was a lot longer and more of a full tang katana. It had a white handle over it and a small wolf-looking scarab. The sheath was made of pure white with the 2 twin gray lines running through it. Kakashi hadn't been in his father's room at all since his death, so he might have missed this. The Jonin grabbed the handle and closed his eyes. "I probably can't wield this just yet, but I hope you can watch me." "Chusan," Kakashi said to himself, as he took the sword into his hands only for a small note to fall to the ground. Kakashi eyed it for a few minutes before he picked it up. He rested the sword on the bed as he read over the note. "To my son. Hey, Kakashi. I don't really know why I'm writing this since you're sleeping just across the hall from me, but things work out like that. I suppose you hate me, don't you? My being ridiculed by the village for my mission must be embarrassing you to be called my son, but I love you. If you're reading this note, then that means that the sword I gave you isn't enough for you, and you want mine. I knew it wouldn't take long. That chakra saber that you inherited from me wasn't my actual sword. I just used it a lot and figured you might like it. The one in your hands is my true sword. It's my Tengoku Hako, heavenly white light. That's the true sword that earned my name, the White Fang of Konoha. Use it well, and it will aid you in everything that you do. Don't forget that. Goodbye, my son. Your father, Sakumo Hatake." Kakashi closed his eyes and gave a deep sigh as he turned to the sword. He quickly took off the sheath and looked at it. It was perfect. No scratches or signs of wear and tear. The shiny steel shimmered in the light of the room. Kakashi saw his reflection before he closed his sword back. He stood to his feet and strapped his sword to his back. "I'll be sure to return this to San, but I'll do as you want and I'll use it to the best of my abilities," Kakashi said to the room before he left the house. He would return later to clean up the place. He wouldn't mind it if their group could use the house if they wanted. He didn't really use it for anything anyway. "Well, I guess I'll go find Yugao and get back into the swing of things," Kakashi said as he shunshined out of the forest. Konoha Security Prison. Sasuke stood in his cell while he did some standard push-ups and exercises. He might be in jail, but that didn't mean that he couldn't train. He did all his taijutsu exercises and anything else that he could do with his body that didn't require the use of weapons. He still wished he had his sword, but he could forget about it for now. He'd been in jail for a few days now, and this had been his training regime for those times. "All right, I'm done with that. Now I can do some other things," Sasuke said to himself before he saw an Anbu appear. He narrowed his eyes as the doors to his cell opened. "Uchiha, get out here!" he yelled, and Sasuke stood to his feet. He glared before he walked out of the cell room. "What is it? You bored, so you came to harass me?" the Uchiha asked before the Anbu walked away. He motioned for the Uchiha to follow him, and Sasuke did. He saw people moan and groan at him, leaving before any of them, but he paid it no mind at all. Soon the two left the cells behind, and the man gave Sasuke his usual clothes, making the brunette look at him with a confused expression on his face. The Anbu turned around and narrowed his eyes behind high mask. "You're lucky to be out so damn early. Tsunade-sama wants to see you immediately." "Why, I don't know, but like I said, you really are lucky," the Anbu said, and Sasuke sighed as he put his clothes on just as easy. Great. What does she want now? Sasuke wondered while another Anbu came next to him. We'll be escorting you to Lady Hokage, now get moving, he said, and Sasuke walked off towards the Hokage mansion, even if he had no idea on what this was about. Hokage mansion. Tsunade was behind her desk signing some papers as usual, while she waited for the Uchiha to arrive. She knew that Naruto and Kushina would be back in a day or two, so she would tell them when they arrived. She already had the licenses made for all 5 of them, so she would just have to wait. Soon there was a knock on the door, making the goddamn Hokage raise her head. Come in, she said, and soon Sasuke entered the room with 2 Anbu flanking him on his sides. The Uchiha sighed while the Anbu bowed. We've brought Uchiha-san Hokage-sama, they said, and Tsunade dismissed them, making them both quickly leave back to their positions. Sasuke stared at Tsunade while she signed some documents. It wouldn't be hard for her to ignore his lingering before she finished the last document and casted her gaze towards the lone Uchiha. She rested her elbows on the table and rested her head into her arms. So how is prison? She asked with a smile, and Sasuke closed his eyes while folding his arms. Annoying to say the least. So, what did you want to talk to me about? I doubt it's good, so I might be returning to my cell soon, Sasuke responded, and Tsunade chuckled at him while the Uchiha sighed in annoyance. Well, that all depends on your answer to my question, Tsunade said, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow at her while Tsunade explained. I'm forming a little group that's comprised of you, Naruto, Kushina, Kakashi, and one of my Anbu Yuga Uzuki. In essence, you are a group of Kenjutsu users, Tsunade said, and Sasuke narrowed his eyes. A group? Why would you make a group of sword users, and what's the purpose? Sasuke asked all these questions, and Tsunade was more than willing to answer a few of them. Yes, this is a group. It was originally not my idea, rather Sakura made it known as a joke, but I thought it over, and it seemed like a really good idea. As to the purpose, I can't tell you that yet until all of you are assembled. Naruto and Kushina are out somewhere, so I'll wait for them. Then I'll tell you all the purpose, Tsunade said, and Sasuke settled for that at the moment. Alright then, so what's in this for me if I do join? Sasuke asked, and Tsunade smiled. Well, for one, you won't be treated as a criminal anymore. Granted, you will be on strict probation, but you won't be in prison. I'll iron out more details with everyone when they arrive, but you'll be reinstated as a shinobi for Konoha. Once your probation is over, you will be able to do whatever you want, but nothing before that, Tsunade said, and Sasuke placed a finger to his chin. He thought it all over before turning back to the Hokage. I get my sword back, right? He asked, and Tsunade nodded. That's right. Your sword will be delivered to you wherever it is you want, so will you join my group? Tsunade asked, and Sasuke avoided her gaze for a second as he pondered over it. He had really nothing to lose in this, and he could get out of prison and get some real training done. Fine, I'll join. It sounds interesting enough. I want to hear more about it when Naruto and his mother get here. You'll answer all our questions? Sasuke asked, and Tsunade nodded. Very well then. I'm going back to the Uchiha compound. Deliver it there, Sasuke said as he left the room. Meanwhile, Tsunade looked out the door and smiled. I hope this is a good idea, Tsunade said before getting back to some work that she had to get done. Uzugakure, Lai morning. Naruto and Kushina had finished exploring what they could of their homeland and decided to go back to the house for the day where some other exploration was going on. Sochi, we have to get back to packing, Kushina said with a slight moan. Naruto chuckled as he kissed his mother's neck, making her slightly shiver. You say that, Kaya-chan, but you seem to feel good right now, Naruto told her as Kushina slightly blushed while she averted her gaze. That's not true at all, she struggled to say before Naruto eyed her. He smiled as he pushed his lips back to his mother's, and the quickly maneuvered her head to lightly hit the wall, while Kushina rubbed her soft hands over her son's shoulders. Naruto pushed his tongue into his mother's mouth, and the two swirled them around. It felt good not to have anyone else around, and just have the time to themselves. Kachan's lips taste really good, Naruto said with a smile, making Kushina blush again at his words. The blonde raised one hand and placed it over his mother's blouse-covered breast. Kushina gave a slight and blissful moan since she hadn't been touched like that in a long time. Sochi, where did you learn this? Kushina asked as she bit her lip. Naruto gave a sly grin across his face before he moved up to his mother's ears. Why? Does it make you feel good? He asked, and Kushina gulped, but didn't say anything as Naruto sucked on her earlobes while Kushina's hands scaled her son's chest. If we don't start, we'll be late in. Getting back, Kushina told him, and while Naruto leaned back, he glanced at his mother's flushed face, while her long hair laid across the bed. Kushina could feel her son rubbing his hard-on over her thighs, making her even more hot as she blushing. He's so hard. How can I stop him now? Kushina wondered before she gave a small smile and leaned up from the wall, smacking her lips back into Naruto's. The blonde was generally surprised by the action as Kushina played around in his mouth. She quickly slid her hands down and grabbed his hard-on through his boxers. Naruto widened his eyes while Kushina smiled. For they both stopped and slumped to the floor. Kushina rolled off Naruto and the two huffed. Did I overdo it? Naruto asked, and Kushina smiled. I don't think so. I really needed that, Kushina said, and Naruto leaned up on the side of the bed. Why did you need that? He asked, and Kushina leaned up next to him. She placed her head on his shoulder before smiling. Because it's been a long time since I felt this way for anyone other than you, Kushina said as she stood to her feet and covered her areas with a small blush on her face. Naruto smiled as he stood up also. He could see the remnant of his pleasure over her body, making her look more erotic than before. He would have liked to really take his mother, but he could wait. He was just happy to be with her for now, but she was right. They did have to go, so on that note the two quickly washed up and got dressed. Lime over. Naruto and Kushina exited the house they had been staying at, and everything was packed up and ready to go. The blonde had taken the books that he had found in the vault. They were all packed up and ready to go. The two Uzumaki passed the large gates of Uzugakure and walked away into the bushes. Kushina whistled a sweet tone while the sun shined over the island. While she whistled, Naruto closed his eyes and enjoyed the sweet sound. He smiled before turning to his mother. You've got a beautiful voice, Naruto said, and Kushina raised an eyebrow before rubbing the back of her head. Do I? I've never figured it, she said, and Naruto nodded as he remembered back to a certain incident. You remind me of this girl who knew how to play the flute. She was kind of a foul mouth, but she was all right. If only she wasn't with Orochimaru team. She had red hair just like yours, or maybe it was dark pink, I don't remember, Naruto said, and Kushina raised an eyebrow. Oh, and what was her name? Kushina asked, and while she wasn't at all interested in the concept of someone from Orochimaru's hands, she still could talk about it. Her name was Tayuya, I think, Naruto said, and Kushina stopped. Naruto turned around, making the redhead place a finger to her chin. I knew a Tayuya. She was only a baby at the time. One of her parents was my cousin. Her name was Yura Uzumaki. After Uzugakure's destruction, she came to visit me under the guise of someone else. When I hooked up with her, she told me how she was pregnant and the small baby that she had in her arms. She said she would name the child Tayuya. I never knew why. She was only about a year old at the time I had seen her. She had the same type of hair you're talking about, Kushina said. Naruto widened his eyes. Wait, are you saying that Tayuya could have been an Uzumaki? Naruto asked, and Kushina nodded. Anything is possible, Sochi. It's something to look into, Kushina said, and Naruto could agree with that. If Tayuya was family, then that would mean that he had a cousin. And he didn't even know about it. Oh, how weird was that supposed to be for him? All right, we'll look into it later. Kachan, Naruto told her, and the two arrived at the sea. All right, so how do we get back? He asked, and Kushina smiled. Just wait a few minutes, she said, and Naruto did so. Those minutes went by fast as they saw a ship appear. It was the same one that they had gone on before they left. Naruto had asked his mother how she knew that they were coming, and she merely told him that she had given them orders to come and get the two in 2 or 3 days. Soon the mother and son duo got on the boat and were ready to head back to Konoha. Back in Konoha, Sasuke stepped into his family's training ground and felt the nostalgia taking over him. He did feel lonely, but even if he didn't admit or nor ever would, he was happy that Naruto said he could bring his mother back. He still felt doubt, but if there was one thing he knew about Naruto, it was that when people doubted him, they were always proven wrong. Sasuke had his sword delivered as Tsunade promised him, and the Uchiha quickly got out of the attire that Orochimaru had given him. He felt disgusted by it and decided to burn in. Right now, the Uchiha was in a black shirt with the Uchiha symbol on the back and tight shorts. He wore his shin guards and black arm guards around his legs and arm. It felt good to be back in the training ground before the Uchiha took out his sword. He quickly went through his katas and stances. His Sharingan was blazing as he went through his intense workout. He could feel the stares of some Anbu on him, but he ignored it for the time being. However, that was only for about half an hour before he felt another presence. Sasuke sighed as he sheathed his sword and took a bottle of water. He allowed the water to quench his thirst while he rolled his eyes. "Sakura, come on now," Sasuke said, and just like he knew, the pink-haired Kunoichi appeared with her head down. Sasuke narrowed his eyes at her before he saw some other people appear. He saw Ino, Chuji, Shikamaru, and Neji walking towards him. "Oh great, what do you all want?" Sasuke asked, sitting on the porch, while Shikamaru rubbed the back of his head. "I see you're still the same troublesome guy," the Nara said while Sasuke huffed. "Is there something you need from me for some reason?" Sasuke asked, and Sakura looked at him in sadness. "Sasuke-kun, did you hear that Tsunade-sama's disbanding Team 7? She's making a group of me, Naruto, Kakashi, and some Anbu." "Yeah, I heard about it," Sasuke said while Sakura walked up to him in a pleading type of voice. "Then, don't accept it. We should all be a team again like we used to," Sakura said while the others turned to Sasuke. The Uchiha closed his eyes and got to his feet. "I already agreed to it," Sasuke said, making everyone gasp at him like they found it shocking. "Sasuke, how could you be so thoughtless?" Ino asked, and Sasuke glared at her. Shikamaru and Chuji backed up before Sasuke turned around. "In what way am I being thoughtless? She should be happy for the training she received, but she keeps focusing on me. She needs to get over herself right now." "You say I'm being thoughtless then? Have you thought about how I feel?" Sasuke asked, making Ino narrow her eyes while Sakura seemed confused. Sasuke sucked his teeth and sighed. "Well, whatever. I agreed to it, so leave me alone so I can train. If you want your questions, then go ask the Hokage, cause I don't know it all." "It's time to stop living that dream, Sakura," Sasuke said before Chuji walked forward. "She just wanted you to come home, Sasuke. Isn't that why you're here now?" he asked while Sasuke quickly swung his sword around, doing his katas as always. "No one's going to keep holding her hand all the time. I didn't come back for her, nor did I come back for this village. I only came back because of what Naruto said to me. If what he said was true, then that's fine with me," Sasuke said, and Sakura widened her eyes at Naruto's name. "What did he say to you?" Sakura asked with a bit of haste in her voice, which everyone had known. "It's none of your business what he said to me. Now then, leave." "You're disrupting my training," Sasuke said while Sakura growled. "Did those times mean nothing to you? You used to smile, have fun, and joke around with us. Why are you so cold?" she asked, and Sasuke stopped swinging. "Oh, this is not going to be good," Shikamaru said in thought. And unknown to him, Neji had the same thought, as did Ino and Chuji. Sasuke huffed and closed his eyes. "I did like those times, but I also see the reality of it all. I've recently learned something that has challenged everything I've ever believed, and now I'm confused as to what I should do. I don't have the time to laugh, smile, or have fun. If you understood me at all, then you would leave me alone, Sasuke said. And just like that, everyone walked away without saying a word while Sasuke sighed. A small smile appeared on his face before he turned around. Sakura, you have potential despite being a damn fangirl. Stop wasting it and get yourself some training and stop throwing your life away after fantasies, Sasuke said in thought before he continued on with his training. With Kakashi and Yugao, the sounds of clashing metal were numerous in the sounds of the forested areas. Kakashi backflipped and landed on one knee, while Yugao smiled. You used to be better than that with a sword, Kakashi-senpai, Yugao told him, and the Jonin rolled his eyes at her. He held his father's sword in his hands before getting back to his feet. Can you blame me? I haven't picked one up in so long, but it feels good to have one in my hands again. Oez, are you done, or can we continue? Kakashi asked, and Yugao smiled behind her mask. Are you going to get serious now? She asked, reaching for her mask while Kakashi reached for his headband. Yugao's mask fell to the ground, showing her face, while Kakashi showed his Sharingan. Well, you know me, I like to cut loose every once in a while, Kakashi said to her, and the two immediately disappeared while clashes resumed and he was ready to have some fun tomorrow. One day later, Naruto and Kushina sighed as they came through the doorway. They had been going midday yesterday and just made it back. They were quite lucky at the time. Both showed their identification to the guards to let them in, which they did. Alright Sochi, let's go and see Tsunade, then we can get some kenjutsu training done. Along with some ninjutsu, but first we head up to the library and work on that little project of ours, Kushina said. And Naruto agreed. The two walked away towards the Hokage Mansion. Tsunade was currently signing documents and prayed to Kami for something to do. She just couldn't get rid of the damn piles of papers. It like it was a living organism coming after her each time to make her life a living hell. Soon there was a knock on her door and the goddamn Hokage gasped, with a blissful thanks to whomever she was talking to. Come in, she said joyfully, making Kushina and Naruto arrive. The two stepped inside while Tsunade seemed rather surprised. Kushina, Naruto, good of both of you to come back. Did you find anything in Uzugakura? Tsunade asked, and Naruto nodded. We sure did. We found lots of stuff there. It was great. Tsunade Bakan, the blonde said, and Tsunade seemed shocked at the fact that they did find something, but she tried to hide that small fact. I see. Well, you two are just in time. I have an announcement to make, and you two are required to be here. It's a little bit of a surprise, Tsunade said, making them raise their eyebrows in confusion of what she could want. It was then that Shizune came through the door with a small file. Here's that paper you wanted, Tsunade-sama, Shizune said to her, and the Hokage took it into her hands with a smile. Thank you, Shizune. Now could you please go get Sasuke, Kakashi, and Yugao for me? Tsunade asked, and Shizune nodded with a bow before leaving. What's going on, Bachan? Why do you need to see them also? Naruto asked, and Tsunade could hardly contain her excitement and all the fun that she would have. Sorry, brat, but you're going to have to wait for that time when they arrive, Tsunade said, and making both Naruto and Kushina glare at her. I'm alright, but at least tell me why you need Sasuke. Isn't he still serving his time? Naruto asked, and Tsunade shook her head. No, because he's agreed to go with what I have planned. Besides, as a Chunin you should know some of these things, Tsunade said, and Naruto rubbed the back of his head with a slight nod. But if you must know, then he's out. He's agreed to go with what I have planned, that's why. Normally I wouldn't do this, but the fact that he gave up willingly sort of swayed my vote a little, Tsunade said, making Naruto and Kushina sweat drop. It would be best not to tell her about that. In about 8 to 10 minutes, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Yugao arrived, and all 5 kenjutsu users stood before their Hokage. Naruto glanced at Sasuke and smiled. Hey Tam, glad to see you out, Naruto said, and Sasuke folded his arms with a smile of his own. Shut up, loser, he responded with his own little grin. The two boys said hi to Kakashi and the Anbu woman, while Tsunade clapped her hands, bringing everyone's attention back to her. Alright, you five, settle down. For the last few weeks I've been enacting a small plan to form a group. Ask your questions after I'm finished, Tsunade said, making everyone nod. Seeing that they understood, Tsunade decided to finish. Alright then, I'll get straight to the point. You all have something in common, something that now makes you stand out from other shinobi. You are all kenjutsu masters. You hold the finest expertise in sword-style jutsu. So I've taken it upon myself to make you all a group. As of right now, you are all in the middle of the Jonin ring. Your group's purpose is to handle in all matters that need to be dealt with in the matter of swords, weapons, and anything else that seems related to the topics. Keep in mind that, yes, everyone uses weapons, but you're going to be one of Konoha's finest groups. Consider yourselves just like the Anbu in a sense. Your team is called Hinoken Butai, the Swords of Fire Squad, Tsunade said, and everyone glanced at each other before Tsunade continued. You report to no one. You answer to no one. You are the blades that help protect this village. You are to only answer to me? You cut down our enemies in the name of Konoha. I suggest that you all get used to each other's. Yuga Uzuki, Kakashi Hatake, Naruto Uzumaki, Kushina Uzumaki, and Sasuke Uchiha. Do you all accept this group? Tsunade asked, and everyone seemed to sweat drop. It was a lot to take in for a new-founded group before Yugao turned around and bowed to everyone. I look forward to working with everyone, she said while they all nodded. Naruto immediately agreed after her, and Kushina did the same after her son. Sasuke then went and Kakashi agreed also. Seeing them all agree with her group, Tsunade smiled, but now was the time for questions, which she was ready for. So what's the purpose of our group? I mean, do we have an objective? Sasuke asked, and Tsunade nodded fast, not wanting to get away from the point. You do have an objective. Assassinations, surveillance, combat, tactics. All these things are things that you must do, and more. You are the five who were hand-selected by me to do this group. Know that the missions I give you will not be easy. Some will bring near life and death situations, but I know you can all handle it. Tsunade said, and they all nodded. Do we have a base of operations? Kushina asked, and Tsunade smiled as she turned to Kakashi. We can use my old house. I don't really live there anymore, so it can be refitted to however we want so long as we have the money for it, Kakashi said, and Kushina smirked with a nod while Naruto got to his feet also. I think we could also use Uzugakura for one of these base things. It's isolated. No one goes there anymore, and it's out of the way, so it can be protected by enemies should we get attacked. It'll be the place of where we can go to do whatever we want so long as Ka-chan and Ba-chan are all right with it, Naruto said, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow at the name, but paid it no mind. Well, I have no problems with it, Kushina said, and Tsunade could honestly agree with it. I don't either. You will all be traveling a lot, so it's understandable. So if you want to use Uzugakura as a base of operations, then that's fine, but you are to tell no one about it unless I deem it acceptable, Tsunade said, and everyone nodded with smiles on their faces. So, who's the leader? Yugao asked, and Tsunade smiled as she closed her eyes. Well, since she's the most experienced, then I have to say Kushina is the leader of Hinoken, Tsunade said, and everyone could agree. They thought Sasuke would say something, but the Uchiha didn't utter a word. Do we get paid? Sasuke asked, making everyone fall to the ground before getting up and rubbing their heads. They all chuckled before Tsunade coughed in her seat. Sorry about that. Yes, you all get paid the Jonin to Anbu pay for missions depending on what I give you. Any more questions? She asked, and no one seemed to have anything to say before Sasuke came up. What are our privileges? He asked, and everyone could see how that was an important issue to face. Tsunade sighed and smiled. Well, for one, almost all of you have a Sanin's traveling rights. Sasuke, since you're on probation, you must always take someone with you to be cautious. Tsunade said, making the Uchiha narrow his eyes, but he expected it, so it didn't really bother him. You all have 24-hour access to the Jutsu Vault of the village. I have my own personal vault that no one but the Hawkage can go into. Plus, you can each have a copy of this, Tsunade said, handing them all 5 copies of the bingo book. They each took their copies and placed them away. Consider it a side project for money if you need it, the older blonde said, and the 5 of them could agree to this. Any more questions? Tsunade asked, and Naruto came forward. Just one more from me. You said that you assembled, but I still want to know why again, Naruto said, and Tsunade sighed. She turned to Yugao and pointed. Yugao has been known as Konoha's Kenjutsu mistress. No one knows her face, but her name is quite common. Kakashi was one of our best Kenjutsu users during the earlier times. Kushina was and still is a Kenjutsu legend. She passed those skills to you, which makes you a Kenjutsu master brat. And lastly, Sasuke was trained in swords by Orochimaru, so that makes him very adept. It's only natural that all of you should come together. Do you agree? She asked, and Naruto nodded as he backed up. Will we be facing any S-rank shinobi? Kakashi asked, and Tsunade nodded. I'm not sure of that, but it is likely given your group's mission now. I'd advise that you all be careful and watch each other's backs, she said to them, and they all agreed. No one had any more questions and so on. That note, Tsunade opened a drawer and pulled out 5 brand new uniforms. The top of it consisted of a black jacket with plenty of hiding places for weapons and the like. The front of the jacket was covered in grayish armor in some parts to allow for protection and movement. On the back of the jacket was the standard swirl symbol like on all the other jackets. She passed them to everyone, and they each took them. She then went into another drawer and pulled out the pants. They were completely black also, and the shin guards were strapped to the hem of the pants for protection to the legs. She passed those to everyone, and they all took the clothes into their hands. The tailor who makes these is the only one who knows of your existence other than me, Shizune, the Anbu, and a few selected Jonin. If these start to show wear and tear damage them, take them to get repair or buy some more, but before that Yugao. Kakashi, Naruto, Kushina, I will need your headbands, Tsunade said, and everyone raised an eyebrow. They all seemed confused, but Naruto unstrapped his while Kakashi pulled his off his head. Yugao had hers hidden under her clothes, and so she managed to get it off and handed it to Tsunade. In return for the headbands, Tsunade handled them all black scarves, each with a single color line going through it down to the base. Wear those in its place. You're not normal shinobi anymore, she said with a smile, and everyone nodded again. And from me to you 5. Here, she said, handing them each 5 licenses. Sasuke saw his face and name while everyone else did also. Never lose those. With those you have access to all the shops around the Land of Fire. You are all ready, now let me see you guys in the outfits, Tsunade said to them, and everyone did so. They all left to change, and quickly returned. They all appeared in their black outfits and Tsunade smiled at everyone. Very sharp, you 5. You all look amazing, she said while Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Kakashi gave an eye smile as he managed to somehow cover his Sharingan eye with his scarf. Sasuke smirked and so did Yugao while Kushina gave a cheeky grin. So do we have a mission already? Naruto asked and Tsunade nodded, making them all go wide-eyed, but she calmed them down. Don't worry, you don't have to do it until later in the week, so you'll be fine. I suggest that you all take this time to get used to each other for the next few days. You're dismissed, Tsunade said, and everyone shunshined out of sight while she went back to her paperwork with a satisfied smile on her face. Rooftops. Everyone shunshined to the rooftops and Naruto looked over the attire. Well, this is a brand new idea that I've never heard of, Naruto said while Kakashi rubbed the back of his head. This might be a new experience for us. Now then, I propose that we all go to my old house. It'll be our base of operations till we move to Uzugakure, Kakashi said, and everyone agreed. So what is Uzugakure? Sasuke asked, and Naruto smiled. The village and place of origin for the Uzumaki clan, Naruto said. And if Sasuke was shocked, then he hit it well. All this time he thought Uzumaki was a no-name, but it was a village and a clan. How could that be possible? Kakashi's house. Kakashi took the new team through the trees and into his house. He turned on the lights and everyone looked around. The place had recently been cleaned and refurbished. "You have a nice place?" "Kakashi-senpai," Yugao said, and the Jonin rubbed the back of his head. "All of those times I wondered where you lived, and I find this," Naruto said, and Sasuke could agree with him on that. "Wait, I thought you lived in an apartment," Sasuke said, and Kakashi nodded. "I do. This was my father's house," Kakashi said, making Sasuke and Naruto glance at each other before staying quiet. A small silence shadowed the area, and before long Kushina clapped her hand, bringing everyone's attention back together. "All right then, I suggest that we all start to get to know each other. We'll all tell our likes, dislikes, hobbies, and our affinities. How about that?" Kushina asked. Yugao agreed while Kakashi, Naruto, and Sasuke sweat dropped. Deja vu, they all thought before everyone sat around the room. Kakashi served them all some tea, and everyone thanked him for their drinks. "All right, I'll go first. I'm Kushina Uzumaki. I like my son, Fuinjutsu, Kenjutsu, and teaching my son all I know along with ramen. I dislike those who make bad ramen, anyone who gets in my way, and those who disrespect their fellow shinobi. My hobby is training and spending time with my son. My affinity is water." "Next," Kushina said, and Kakashi rubbed the back of his head. "Well, Naruto, Sasuke, I guess you'll learn a bit more about me now. I'm Kakashi Hata. I like walking around the village, being around my fellow Jonin, reading and training. I dislike those who abandon others. I also dislike Gay when he tries to force me to do his competitions. My hobby is reading. My affinities are fire and lightning," Kakashi finished, and Yugao continued. "Hello everyone, I'm Yugao Uzuki. I like looking at the moon, walking around the village at night, and reading when I have the time. I dislike people who don't treat their weapons with respect. I dislike anyone who looks down on me. My hobby is training with my sword. My affinity is lightning," Yugao finished, and Sasuke started. "I'm Sasuke Uchiha. I like training, getting stronger and achieving my goals. I dislike those who get in my way and those who look down on the Uchiha clan. My hobby is training myself. My affinity is fire and lightning," Sasuke finished. And Naruto lastly started his own. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I like my mother, ramen, my friends, Kenjutsu, and training, along with my recently good friend, Kyuubi," Naruto said, keeping the last part to himself, making Kyuubi snicker with a small nod. "My dislikes are the times it takes to wait for ramen, those who underestimate me, or threaten my mother. My hobby is training with my mother, and practicing my kenjutsu. My affinity is wind," Naruto finished, and everyone nodded. They were all surprised that they found their similarities so quickly, but they let that end for right now. "All right then, now that we know some things about each other, we can get more acquainted. Kakashi, how many rooms does this place hold?" Kushina asked, and Kakashi rubbed the back of his head. Maybe 5 or 6, he said, and Kushina nodded. "All right, since we're all a part of Hinoken, then we'll make our rooms here. There will be times that we can't go back to our usual places since people come there a lot. So everyone, we need to grab some clothes from our rooms and houses and bring them back here. Meanwhile, we'll each get supplies for the fridge. The place seems clean, so we'll divide the chores and things. Same can be said for when we go to Uzugakure. Only Naruto and I can help you pass, so make sure one of us is with you when we go," Kushina told them. Everyone in the group agreed before Naruto looked the house over. "Kakashi-sensei, does this place have a vault?" Naruto asked, and Kakashi nodded. "Yeah, it's a medium-sized vault that can hold a lot of things." "Why?" he asked, and Naruto smiled. "Well, I was thinking that we could all take some scrolls from our houses and place them inside. Kind of like our own little jutsu vault of sorts. It might be a good idea, right? He asked, and everyone glanced at each other. I think Naruto-san has a point. I think that might be a good idea also, the purple-haired woman said, and everyone agreed with it. Well, that's all right with me. But we should also take some with us to Uzugakure. If we have the time, then we'll renovate the place, and then we'll make some buildings for ourselves. It'll be nice, Kushina said, and Sasuke smirked. We should also make a training ground here and there for ourselves. We'll need to refine our skills. I'd rather not save the dobe all the time, Sasuke stated, and Naruto growled. Please, Temi. I kicked your ass that one time, Naruto told him, and Sasuke grew a tick mark. Everyone's sweat dropped as they stared at each other, making lightning go between them. All right, they always like that, Yugao asked, and Kakashi sighed. Habits don't die easily, I guess, he said, making Kushina nod. The two boys broke their glances with each other and huffed at each other. Ma, you two, for now let's all get this stuff done. I'll open the vault and you guys can set up the rooms. We should get out of these now before someone notices. So we'll go home and change. Our outfits will remain here, Kakashi said, and everyone agreed with him. So on that note, everyone shunshined out of sight to go and collect some of their belongings. With Naruto and Kushina, the two members of Hinoken came up to their house and quickly got inside. They walked into their room and opened the door. Naruto took off his attire and stripped down to his boxers and t-shirt, while Kushina took off the same thing, but stayed in some more moderate clothing. They each put on some different clothes and quickly got to putting some of their clothes in some scrolls, along with some battle items. Naruto sealed 3 to 5 pairs of clothes, and Kushina did the same. They sealed their Hinoken attire and quickly walked downstairs. They each sealed some food and other things in their scrolls, and were about to walk to the door before they heard a knock. Naruto gulped while Kushina opened the door. They saw Sakura come through the door while giving a sad smile. Sochi, I'll take our things. See you later, Kushina said as she ran out the door. Naruto narrowed his eyes and allowed Sakura to come inside. Hi, Naruto, Sakura said, and the blonde smiled. Hey Sakura, how are you? Naruto asked, and Sakura shrugged her shoulders. I'm fine, but Sasuke-kun wants to disband Team 7. Isn't that crazy? He's joining some group. Has Tsunade-sama talked to you about it? Sakura asked, and Naruto closed his eyes. He knew this might come up. While they ran through the trees, Sasuke told Naruto about his talk with Sakura, and the blonde knew it wouldn't be long before she would come to him to ask him not to do it. She always came to him when she was desperate. Yeah, me and Kei-chan joined, Naruto said, as he didn't really divulge any information, just told Sakura that part. The pink-haired Kunoichi gasped and stood to her feet. First, Kakashi-sensei, then Sasuke, and now you. Am I the only one who still wants the old Team 7 back? Sakura asked, and Naruto stood to his feet. He could feel the Shin characteristics coming into play. He was a lot more serious than before he met Shin, but only around people who deserved it. Look, Sakura, I'll always treasure Team 7, but we're not going to stay a group. I told you I would bring Sasuke back, and I did. I never said that things would just be the same. That's impossible, and you know it is, Naruto told her while Sakura seethed. I thought you of all people would understand how I felt. You've changed, Naruto. Where's the blonde idiot that I like to hang around with? Where's the idiot that could make me laugh with his silly antics or his ravings about being hawkish? Sakura asked, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. He stood to his feet, and his glare made her flinch. She felt like she was staring death in the face. Yeah, I've changed, Sakura. I'm no idiot anymore. I've grown up. So has Sasuke away. I'm always gonna be around, but I'm not going to let you or anyone else berate me like you used to. I still want to be Hokage, but I'm also growing up just like the rest of the world. Now, if you don't mind, then I have stuff to do, Naruto said as he walked out the door, leaving Sakura inside. With Naruto. The blonde sighed as he rubbed the back of his head. Maybe he was a little harsh, But he had to think about other things, and Sakura wasn't one of them at the moment. He would always care for Sakura, but only as a friend. He had his girlfriend. He had the love of his life, and he couldn't be the one to be Sakura's support anymore. "Was that too mean, Kyubi?" Naruto asked, and the fox demon snorted. "Please, brat, I think you let her off too easy, if anything. At least you're not her punching bag anymore," Kyubi said, and Naruto nodded. He then hopped along the rooftops and went back to Kakashi's old house. Kakashi's house. Naruto came up to the house and made sure that he wasn't followed. He walked inside and saw everyone else around in the room with their stuff. Yugao had a few scrolls, and so did Sasuke and Kakashi. Kushina had her stuff, and so did Naruto. "All right then, we'll all go to our rooms. Pick anyone you want. Just don't take my father's room. I'd like to keep that one tidy," Kakashi said, and everyone respected his wishes. They all settled their things in their rooms, leaving a few of them free since Naruto and Kushina bunked together, saying that they were just used to it and being in small spaces. No one seemed to complain nor care. It took about 2 hours, but everyone was settled in and some of their weapons were stocked up in Kakashi's vault. Everyone sat around the house and noticed it was getting dark out before Yugao stood up to her feet. "Is anyone hungry? I'll make dinner," she said, and Kushina stood to her feet. "Let me help you with that," the redhead offered, and Yugao gratefully accepted. Meanwhile, Naruto stood to his feet and headed for the door. "Where are you going, Dobe?" Sasuke asked with a grin, and Naruto glared. "I'm going to the library." "Be right back," Naruto said as he closed the door while Sasuke widened his eyes. Kakashi did the same while Kushina chuckled at their reactions. Soon, Sasuke stood to his feet, and Kakashi did also. "I guess we'll train for a bit. See you ladies later," Kakashi said, making them nod as he and Sasuke disappeared into the trees. With Naruto, the blonde walked the streets of Konoha and sighed. He wasn't about to go to the library just yet. He smiled as he found this to be the perfect time. The blonde quickly vanished from the streets and into a secluded spot. He came into a small area of the woods in Konoha and stripped his hand of the seal covering it. He looked at the large lines over his shoulder going to his seal and sighed. He bit his thumb and slammed the seal. "Kuchiyoza no Jutsu!" Naruto yelled, and the seal glowed. He covered his eyes before he quickly faded. He smirked as he turned around to see Shin looking at him with his piercing gaze as always, and Naruto tried to match it with his own. At least you're learning to use your gifts better. I'm impressed, if only slightly. Now then, what do you want from me now?" the Shinigami asked, and Naruto smiled. "Well, tomorrow I'd like you to train me in more of the spirit kenjutsu that you have me doing. But I would like to revive someone else. Even if I think this is a very bad idea," Naruto said, and the Shinigami closed his eyes. He nodded and got ready to do a revival. "Who would you like to revive?" he asked, and Naruto sighed. There was no turning back once he said this name. "I want to revive the female head of the Uchiha clan, the matriarch, the mother of Sasuke Uchiha and Itachi Uchiha. I want to revive Makoto Uchiha," Naruto said, and the beads of the Shinigami rattled. They glowed in a bright light, and Naruto covered his eyes. The entire area was enveloped unseeable before it died down. "Contract agreement? I expect one sacrifice by the end of the week, or I take her back," the Shinigami said, and Naruto agreed to it instantly. "Understood," the blonde said, and immediately he saw a figure arrive out of the light. He smiled while the Shinigami faded. Makoto opened her eyes and stared at Naruto. "Who are you?" she asked, and the blonde smiled. "Hello, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Welcome back to the living world?" "Makoto-san," Naruto said with a thumbs up while Makoto widened her eyes. What? With Naruto. The blonde gazed at the Uchiha matriarch while Makoto touched her face. She gasped in the revelation that she was alive. It all felt like a miracle. She noticed Naruto staring at her with a smile on his face while she settled down. How am I back? Wait, that face. You couldn't be Kushina's son," Naruto Uzumaki, Makoto said to him, and Naruto nodded fast. He rubbed the back of his head while he gave her a cheeky grin. Guilty as charged, I guess, the blonde said, while Makoto gazed at him up and down. The last time she had ever seen Naruto was when he was either 6 or 7. To see him so tall was different in its own right. Why? Why did you revive me? This should be impossible unless, Makoto thought for a second, and the idea that Naruto would try an Edo Tensei on her just to bring her back. The disrespect of the dead was so wrong and cruel, and Naruto seemed to know her thoughts before he chuckled. No, it's not an Edo Tensei, Naruto told her, and Makoto widened her eyes before she calmed down. She sighed in relief that it wasn't like that, but that still left the question of how this was possible. Then please indulge me a bit, Naruto-kun. I admit that it's good to see you, but mind telling me about this? Makoto asked, and Naruto nodded. He sat in the grassy field, and Makoto did the same. Naruto told her everything. He told her about him almost dying in Final Valley, his meeting with the shinigami, how the shinigami became his first summoner, and even how he revived Kushina, Gaara, Hanako, and herself. Needless to say, but Makoto was surprised that anyone could hold a contract with the death god. It had to be considered a really big privilege and honor to hold such a thing. And you used it to revive me, but why? She asked, and Naruto chuckled while Makoto stared at his seal. She gazed at its complexity before moving her eyes back to Naruto, who was still chuckling. For one, it was a promise to someone, but I can't tell you who yet. You'll meet him tonight, but before we leave, can you please tell me something? Naruto asked, and Makoto nodded. She felt obliged since Naruto told her what she wanted to know. All right, what would you like to ask, Naruto-kun? She asked with a small smile, and the blonde narrowed his eyes into a small glare. What happened with the Uchiha massacre? The blonde asked, and Makoto's smile dwindled. She looked at the ground for a second, contemplating a few things, while Naruto gave her the time that she needed. It's not easy to explain, but the Uchiha were feeling arrogant. Our clan had always looked out for the benefits of the village, and my husband, Fugaku Uchiha, felt that the Hokage position was withering. He felt that the Uchiha should be deciding things for the village since we were the village police force. I always felt the Fugaku was blinded by that, but I never said anything, even though I know I should have. Then Itachi came to kill us in the name of the village of Konoha. I can only wonder how hard it was to kill all of us, but Fugaku and I took our deaths without any resistance. Makoto explained while Naruto raised an eyebrow. But all of you, didn't any of you disapprove of this? Naruto asked, and Makoto nodded. She sighed and slightly rubbed the back of her hair. Yes, but the village probably didn't want to take any chances. Rather than keep the Uchiha alive and live in fear of a possible coup, they decided to get rid of everyone. Tell me, is Sarutobe-sama still alive? She asked, and Naruto looked away in some sadness. It was the only answer that she needed before she sighed. I see. So who's the Hokage now? Makoto asked, and Naruto rolled his eyes with a small smile. Our female Sannin, Tsunade Senju, the blonde said, and Makoto gasped. So Tsunade came back to the village. Well, that was a surprise if she could forget about the fact that she was even alive. The Uzumaki and Uchiha sat in relative silence for a little while before Naruto took out a piece of paper. He then took out a pen and smiled as he wrote on the paper. Makoto watched the blonde write whatever he was writing before he stopped. He handed the note to Makoto, and the Uchiha matriarch took it into her hands. All right. I think we can go now, but go towards the Uchiha compound and stay in the living room. You'll meet the person soon enough, Naruto told her, and Makoto gave a confused expression. She wondered what Naruto could be hiding from her, but she gave in and got to her feet. I'm all right, she said, walking off, and Naruto snickered. He could only hope that things went well. All right. Now to get you then, that'll be it, Naruto said to himself before he shot off back to Kakashi's house. Hinoken Base of Operations. Yugao and Kushina were still cooking their food as they heard swords clashing outside. It seemed that Kakashi and Sasuke were having a good time with each other, but they did wonder where Naruto was. He had been gone for a long time and everyone was starting to get worried. "Is the food almost done, Yugao?" Kushina asked, and the female ex-Anbu nodded, taking a spoon to sip the broth of some soup. "Yes, Kushina-san. Though I hope Naruto-san comes home soon," Yugao said, and Kushina agreed before the two ladies heard the doorknob twist. They tensed for a second before they saw Naruto come through the door with an ear-splitting grin across his face. "Well, speak of the devil. How was the library, Naruto-kun?" Kushina asked, and the blonde snickered. He turned back to his mother, and due to their connection, Kushina could feel the overwhelming joy that Naruto felt, although it seemed more like a prank was coming into play sooner or later. "Why are you so happy?" Yugao asked, and Naruto sat on the couch. He tried to calm down, but the feeling was just too good not to smile. "No particular reason. Hey, where are Kakashi and Sasuke?" Naruto asked, and before they could answer, the two Hinoken members came through the door from the training field as they heard Naruto's question. "Right here, you loser. What's the matter? Too many hard books for you to read?" Sasuke asked with a smile, but Naruto ignored it while Kakashi went upstairs to wash up while Naruto wrapped an arm around Sasuke's neck. He was in too good a mood to care about Sasuke's insult. The Uchiha raised an eyebrow at Naruto's upbeat attitude as he wondered if something happened, but Naruto was going to clarify that soon enough. "What's with you, loser?" "Get off me," Sasuke said, and Naruto did so before he stopped smiling long enough to have a serious expression. "Sasuke, go back to the Uchiha compound," Naruto told him, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow. "For what?" he asked, and Naruto smiled as he pushed Sasuke to the door. The Uchiha grumbled at the blonde before Naruto whispered in his ear. "You held your end of the bargain, so I did the same," he whispered, and Sasuke widened his eyes. He turned to Naruto in shock while he saw the cheeky smile on the blonde's face. Sasuke felt his hands tremble as he took the doorknob of Kakashi's house in his hands. He turned back to Naruto one more time, and the Uzumaki urged him to get a move on. "She's waiting for you," Sasuke, Naruto told him, and hearing those words, Sasuke quickly opened the door and slammed it shut as he left the house in an obvious hurry. "Where's he going?" "Dinner's ready," Yugao said, setting the table, and Naruto smiled as he sat down at the table. Kakashi had returned and sat at another part of the table. Kushina sat next to Naruto, and Yugao sat next to Kakashi. "I don't think we'll be seeing him the rest of the night," Naruto said, while Kushina eyed him. Did he do what she thought he did? She quickly noticed the smile on his face, and closed her eyes, smiling in turn of his actions. "That's my son, I guess," Kushina thought to herself as everyone decided to eat their food without waiting for Sasuke due to Naruto saying that the Uchiha wouldn't be back for the rest of the day. With Sasuke. The Uchiha huffed as he hit the streets of Konoha. He quickly ran through the crowds of people. He could have taken the rooftops, but he was in too much emotion to remember that small fact at the moment. Naruto had done it. He revived his mother just like he said he would. It sounded like a damn dream, but Sasuke could only pray that it wasn't. He rushed through some civilians that he shoved out of his way. "She's alive. Is she really alive?" Sasuke asked all these questions in his head as he continued to run while the sweat dripped from his face. He quickly came to the Uchiha compound gates and panted. He looked around the place only to see it was dark. He frantically looked around the entire place before he came up to his house. Sasuke opened the door and quickly turned on the lights in the living room. Time seemed to stop as Sasuke stared in complete shock. The Uchiha fell to his knees while he balled his fists. He stared at the dark-haired woman who was sitting on her couch, looking at him. She gave a warm and inviting smile to the Uchiha heir before she stood to her feet. "Hello, Sasuke. How have you been?" she asked, walking over to him and ruffled his hair. Sasuke trembled from her touch before he quickly grabbed her, shocking Makoto with his action. "Ka-san," Sasuke said eagerly, and Makoto smiled while she softly petted his hair. Sasuke gritted his teeth while his Sharingan flared. He gazed at his mother up and down multiple times, and it showed him everything. She was the real person. No clone. no genjutsu. It really was his mother. My Sasuke have grown up a lot. I missed you, Makoto said to him, and Sasuke bit his lower lip. He gulped while he settled into his mother's embrace. Makoto was more than happy to allow him that, as they rested for a few minutes. He really did it. But how? It's not possible, Sasuke thought before he got up, and Makoto did the same. She took in Sasuke's appearance up and down, and he really turned into an astounding young man in her eyes. She looked at him before she took his hand and guided him towards the couch. Sasuke followed her, and the two sat on the couch. I can't believe it, Sasuke said, and Makoto smiled at her youngest son. She could tell it was a really big shock for him before she went into her clothes and pulled out a small paper. Sasuke noticed the letter as Makoto handed it to him. Here for you, Sasuke, Makoto told him, and Sasuke kept the letter. He opened it and read to letter. To Mr. Emo. There, are you happy now? I told you that I always keep my word about the things I will do. There is Makoto Uchiha right in the flesh. Please be happy with this. No doubt this is going to get a rise out of the village, and Tsunade-Khan is already suspicious of my actions. So please find a way to deal with this. Makoto already told me that she wouldn't say anything. Please lighten up now and don't brood. Naruto Uzumaki. Sasuke crunched the letter into his hands and smiled. He sighed with a mental nod. Naruto did his part so Sasuke would do his, and not say anything to give this away. Whatever Naruto didn't want people to know, then it was probably for the best, Sasuke figured. Sasuke put the note away and turned to his mother while Makoto smiled at him. Well, Sasuke, are you going to just stare at me? Or will you tell your mother about your life? Makoto asked, and Sasuke nodded. He closed his eyes as he told his mother about his lonely life, which effectively made Makoto sad about all the sadness that he endured. Sasuke told her about his being the Rookie of the Year and his obsession with killing Itachi because of what he did to the clan. Makoto closed her eyes as she knew she would have to tell Sasuke the truth about the entire thing later. Sasuke talked to her about his entire life, even the unpleasant parts of teaming up with Orochimaru for a bit for power. Sasuke was actually quite ashamed to admit it to his mother, and while Makoto severely disapproved of his actions, she could understand where he was coming from. Sasuke finished his story, and Makoto sighed. That was stupid what you did, Sasuke, Makoto told him. And Sasuke sighed with a nod. He stayed silent before Makoto gently pressed his head to her shoulder. Don't ever do that again. I never want to see you down that path again. But Sasuke, there is something that I must tell you, Makoto told him, and that Uchiha looked at her in confusion of what she could tell him. What is it, Kaya-san? Sasuke asked, and Makoto sighed. She closed her eyes, trying to find the words to explain to her son. She'd rather get him off that revenge path, and Naruto had done the first step, albeit bribery, in a small sense. Sasuke, Itachi didn't kill the Uchiha clan simply because he wanted to, Makoto said, and Sasuke looked at the ground while he contemplated her words. I know that. Everyone is telling me that. One of the Anbu told me that Itachi was doing it for the village. I find it to be so insane, Sasuke said in anger, but Makoto's presence seemed to calm him down as she gently hushed her son. Sasuke calmed down a little more, and Makoto spoke again. Sasuke, Itachi did the right thing. Believe it or not, but our clan wanted to overthrow Konoha, Makoto said, making Sasuke widen his eyes. The Uchiha balled his fists before he stood to his feet. You're messing with me, right? Father's the one who taught me about loyalty to one's village. He told me to get stronger, all for the sake of being a good Konoha shinobi, Sasuke said. And Makoto nodded as she stood to her feet also. She and Sasuke stared at each before the Uchiha heir looked at the ground. Yes, Sasuke, he told you that, but you misinterpreted it. You weren't to be strong for this Konoha, but for his Konoha, the one he would rule over as the Uchiha head and the Hokage of the village. Sasuke, Itachi is the one who showed true loyalty to the village? To love his village so much that he would take the blame for the village and become an international criminal. At least, that's what I think would happen. Did he become a criminal? Makoto asked, and Sasuke nodded. An S-ranked criminal, Sasuke corrected, and Makoto mentally whistled. She didn't know whether to be proud or sad that he was considered an S-rank shinobi. The two Uchiha stayed silent for a small while before Sasuke looked at the wall. So, what am I supposed to do? I never dreamed of a life where I wasn't going to kill Itachi for what he did, Sasuke said, seething. And Makoto smiled as she kissed her son's forehead, making him lightly blush. Sasuke, forgive Itachi. You know the burden of following orders. I bear no hatred for Itachi's son, so please, just for me, try and forgive him. He might still feel bad for all that he did. I've known you both since you were young, and you can't fool me. Neither of you can or ever will, Makoto said with pride, and Sasuke couldn't help but give a small snicker. Soon his stomach rumbled, making the Uchiha blush in embarrassment. Makoto chuckled at him before she noticed how messed up he looked in his clothes. Well, we can talk about later. For right now, we'll get you something to eat, and then we'll go see Tsunade. There is something I'd like to ask her, Makoto said, and Sasuke paled. Is that such a good idea? He asked, remembering Naruto's little deal and that Makoto could tell that's what he was thinking about. Don't worry, I know about Naruto, and we'll let that be our little secret. Now then, what would my son like for dinner? Makoto asked, and Sasuke gave a very rare, but truly happy smile. This was such a good feeling for the Uchiha as he had his mother back in his life. Next morning, Naruto sighed as he got to his feet. He yawned himself awake only to see that he and Kushina had spent their first night in Kakashi's house. The dinner Yugao and Kushina made for everyone was good, but just as Naruto suspected, Sasuke didn't come back that night, and he had a good reason for not coming back. Naruto got up from the bed and stretched his legs. He saw Kushina still sleeping before he smiled and kissed her cheek. Kushina snuggled in the bed before she sighed. Naruto chuckled at her before he put on his clothes. In no time, Naruto was eating his breakfast just like usual downstairs before his eyes gleamed. That's right, he had 24-hour access to the Jutsu library. He could go there, and all he would have to do was clear this with Tsunade, then he could go. Plus maybe he could come up with a different name, other than what he thought for his time-space, ninjutsu. I'm surprised you didn't say anything about me bringing back an Uchiha, Naruto said mentally, making his fox stir in its cage. I don't like it, those damn arrogant pricks. You'd better not bring back anymore. I still hate them with every fiber of my being, Kyuubi said while Naruto snickered. So that's just a big, old, fat lump of hatred, right? Naruto asked, and Kyuubi grew a tick mark on his furry head. I'm not old, nor am I fast. That wasn't funny, Kyuubi said, and Naruto rolled his eyes. The talk was cut short as Naruto finished his food. He was ready to leave after he left a note as to where he would be. So on that note, no pun intended, Naruto set out of the house and walked into the streets. Immediately, he heard whispers of people talking. He snickered as he found that news traveled fast. Did you see her? I did. I can't believe it. Makoto-sama is alive and well. I feel like it's almost impossible. Maybe the Shinigami likes her. All these comments Naruto heard, and they made him chuckle. He didn't have on his Hinoken outfit, but just some casual clothes. Damn, news travels fast. I can only hope that no one traces this back to me, Naruto said to himself as he entered the Hokage mansion. He was no closer to walking up the stairs before he saw something slam out of the door. His sweat dropped and noticed it was a bottle of sake. I quit, someone yelled, making Naruto quickly turn his head to see Makoto and Sasuke staring at Tsunade as she threw sake bottle after sake bottle out the window. The blonde sweat dropped again as he wondered what this was about. Tsunade-sama, you must calm down, Shizune yelled while Jiraiya seemed to be in a state of shock. Tsunade grew a tick mark before turning to her assistant and grabbing her clothes. Calm down. You expect me to calm down? Do you or do you not see the person in this room at the moment? I quit sake. It won't deal with this headache. I can take a lot, but this is impossible. Tsunade yelled while Naruto gulped. He quickly turned around the corner before Tsunade narrowed her eyes. Naruto, get your ass in here, she yelled and the blonde winced. Sasuke and Makoto turned around while Naruto rubbed the back of his head. He chuckled before dodging a sake bottle. What was that for? Naruto asked and Tsunade grew another tick mark on her head. Who did it? I know you were dead, Makoto. Kushina, then Hinako, and now you… What is going on here? I want to know it now, Tsunade commanded while Sasuke paled. Jiraiya completely agreed with Tsunade while the Sannin turned to Naruto. What are you doing here anyway, brat? Tsunade asked, and Naruto gulped. I just wanted to tell you that I was going to the Jutsu Vault for a little while. That's all. Did I interrupt something? And who's this? Naruto asked, feigning ignorance, making Sasuke and Makoto lightly chuckle at him before Jiraiya stepped forward.
Naruto, this is Makoto Uchiha. She's the matriarch of the Uchiha clan and Sasuke's mother. She was and all the others were recorded to be deceased, so this is a real mystery. I don't see the work of an Edo Tensei in the least. Sasuke, what have you done? Jiraiya asked and the Uchiha gasped. He bit his lower lip and Makoto was about to speak before Tsunade interrupted.
Makoto, let Sasuke talk. I want to hear this before I go insane, Tsunade said, and Naruto gulped before Sasuke rubbed the back of his head and closed his eyes. Why are you asking me? I didn't know about this at all. I only found out about this yesterday, Sasuke said to her, and Tsunade dropped her jaw along with Jiraiya. There was no way that she could have gotten into the village since the border patrols were tighter. Someone would have noticed her at the very least, but she was dead, gone, out of commission, pushing up daisies. Whatever you wanted to say. This was just too weird to be true. If you'll let me, then I can explain this, Makoto told Tsunade, and the goddamn hulkage slumped into her chair before rubbing her temples. Brat. If you have something to do with this, then you'd better tell me now, Tsunade said to Naruto, and the blonde raised an eyebrow before he mentally stared to sweat. He had learned to keep his face emotionless, but he had forgot that lesson at the moment while Kyuubi was grinning like mad. Come, brat. It's time to get out of this jam. You knew this was coming, Kyuubi told him. And Naruto gulped. Why are you asking me? I don't even know who this woman is until now. I just came to tell you that I was going to the Jutsu library, Naruto said, making Tsunade slam her head on the table. Jiraiya face palmed himself before Tsunade looked at another bottle of sake. This has to be a damn dream, she said before she turned to Shizune. Shizune, get rid of every single last sake bottle I own. Right now, Tsunade yelled and Shizune gulped. Tsunade-sama, you're not thinking clearly. Please settle down, Shizune told her before Tsunade sighed. Tsunade, I said and explained. Makoto yelled, and Sasuke backed away from his mother and appeared next to Naruto. I don't know how you did it, loser, but you have my eternal gratitude. I also learned some things last night. Don't expect me to keep saying this or say it again, but thank you. I really mean it, Sasuke whispered, and Naruto smiled. It's all right, Sasuke. I know what it's like to miss a mother, Naruto told him, and Sasuke nodded before they turned back to see Makoto talking. You see, Itachi didn't actually kill me. In fact, he told me of his entire plan, and I went with it. He told me that he would tell me all about Akatsuki. Yeah, I knew about it. And he would give me information while I passed it to the Sandan. He didn't let anyone, and I had gone into hiding because of it. There were so many nights that I wanted to spend with Sasuke, but I knew I couldn't. Underneath the Uchiha compound is a bunker where I stayed in. I was given food by some unknown source, so I pretty much stayed down there while listening to what happened to the world. What you saw in blood was a blood clone that I used to make it real, but I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to see Sasuke, and so I decided to reappear. I didn't care about the consequences so long as I got to see my son, Makoto said, smiling and waving at Sasuke, who turned away with an embarrassed look on his face.